a short prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, please grant us strength, willingness, and faith to always make the proper and correct decisions that will benefit all of our village residents. Also, again, we are asking for your help and blessing in protecting West Virginia residents, but are especially concerned about all of our Bethlehem residents and families because of this coronavirus. Thanks be to God for all you do for us. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Matt, now your turn. Call roll, please.
Councilman Otten.
Here.
Councilman Bishop.
Here.
Councilman Hershuk.
Here.
Councilman Henry.
Here.
Mayor Junkins.
Here.
Councilman Sassine.
Here.
Recorder Sassine. Here. Councilman Snyder.
Here.
Councilman Wojcik.
Here. Okay, next we have the approval of our previous council meeting, October 5, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections? And if not be, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Matt, do you have your report?
The only thing I have tonight, Mayor, is that the next council meeting will be held Monday, November 2nd, 2020 at 8 p.m. here at the village office.
Okay, thank you. Jamie, you have anything that you want to report as accountant, other than we have the list of bills and the financial statement, which we'll do that under new business?
No, that's all.
Okay. Okay, next I'm going to deviate from our normal agenda here. We have a couple visitors with us tonight, Johnette and her friend are over there. We sent out in the council packs information on our medical plan analysis and everything, and she wants to go over that with us. So you have that copy, and then she passed another flyer out tonight to us. So, Johnette, you want to
Sure.
take the floor?
Sure will. It's nice being here again tonight. I can't believe it's been a year almost. We're here a little bit early. We're here a little bit early this year, which is good. We found that what you did last year was the best thing you could have done. Last year you had a 16.3% rate increase. This year you have a 5.5. So it proves that going into the HRA, where the employee pays the first $1,500 of the deductible, and the employer pays the second $1,500 of the deductible if it's a two-person or family plan, or even a single. The insurance, what we also checked into was I wanted to see how many deductibles were actually met this year. So Jody McAdams was to run a report, which we don't have yet, but the next meeting I come back, I will have that report. We went out to look at other carriers, and we got ACA rates. And again, looking at just the ACA rates, the Affordable Care Act rates on group health plans were higher than what you're paying now. So it looks that your HRA is the best thing you could have added to the plan last year. You still have a 100% plan, and after the $3,000 for a single deductible, $6,000 for a family, And there's office visit co-pays for a $20 office copay for a preventative care. A specialist is $20, and there's your office visits. I thought you had one more. But also, the e-room visits stay the same at $150. And there's going to be a change on the RX plan. It's still a 15/30/50 on the RX. What's going to change as of January 1st is on the specialty drug, usually on a specialty drug it was 30% or $300. Now on the specialty drug there's going to be a copay on the specialty drug, and it's going to be a 3-tier copay, and so it will help the employee. It's going to be it's going to be a 10%, a 30%, and a 5 and a 50%. So that'll change, but that'll help the employee on a specialty drug. You still have mail order prescriptions, and the copays still stay the same as they were last year. So you still have the 100% plan, and that plan you cannot get. If you would come out of the plan that you're in right now, you couldn't get this plan back. So everything that you've done so far, you've done right. You made the right decisions last year. So again, the next meeting I'll come back and I'll let you know how many people have actually met the deductible for this past year, and we'll see if we can get those rates down a little bit, but I don't know because they've already got them down to 5%. So let's see what happens, and I will be back at your next meeting. I think you said November 2nd.
November 2nd, yes.
And all of you should have the spreadsheet on your plan design. Then we did give you options to raise that deductible, but we really didn't think you wanted to raise that deductible any more than the $3,000, $6,000 a family. Any questions?
You said about the spreadsheet, will that be completed before the next meeting? If so,
Yes.
If we get it here, we
Yes.
can send it around the council, so
Yes,
we'll have it.
I will have it up here and make
Okay.
sure you get it before the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
No questions?
How does this compare to the national average?
Pardon me?
How does this compare to the national average, or 5%?
You're 5%? Well, let me tell you, in today's world of healthcare, anything below a 10%, you want to thank your lucky stars. Because the rates we see out there, I mean, we've seen rates out there as high as 43%. So you're doing really well.
Okay, no questions for Joanette?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll see if we can drum up some for the next time you're here, Joanette.
Here's just something to think about.
Okay. You're welcome to stay, but the reason I had you at the beginning, I thought maybe you had some other appointments tonight, so you're welcome to stay. If not, you can,
Well, thank you so
Later
much.
if you want.
And I will be back at your next meeting.
okay,
And I'll get in touch with Jane.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Good night.
Nice seeing you. Nice seeing all of you.
Where,
See you tomorrow.
where's your report?
Take care.
There we go.
Good evening.
You too.
Okay, next we have the mayor's report. Wanted to mention that on Wednesday, October the 7th, I had attended a meeting at the Ohio County Public Service District office in Philadelphia, which was their monthly meeting. Those in attendance were Commissioner Randy Wharton, board members Robert Luchetti, Daniel Dickinson, and County Commission Administrator Greg Stewart. Also, County Engineer Morgan Coast, and the manager that has the equal job of, like Ben has here, is Richard Scott. And I met Richard before the meeting started and everything. He's a fairly young fellow. He's been there 30 years, so he has a wealth of experience out there. And he's he maybe doesn't like me to mention his age, but he's about 51. But that was quite an eye-opener up there, because I didn't realize they covered so much territory. They go to adjacent counties and besides Ohio County. The purpose of my attendance was to find out more about their operation within Ohio County and their experiences with the last 3 years, the installation of their water meter electronic reading system. The county also has Badger meters, the same Beacon AMA mobile metering system that Bethlehem has approved. Bethlehem intends to do network with Ohio County to find out as much information as possible. They also encourage that we do that, and different little tips, but my time was well spent at this meeting. Then on Friday, the October the 9th, the village had an outdoor meeting at 2 o'clock, which was a presentation of the grant check for $105,000 from Ohio County Commissioners, presented by Commissioner Tim McCormick, for their participation in assisting Bethlehem with their project, the Beacon AMA mobile metering water system. This event was attended by our solicitor T.C. McCarthy, Ben Gilbert, various village employees, members of council, and also the local media, WTRF Channel 7, WTOV Channel 9, Wheeling News Register. The weather was ideal for this outdoor session. At last council meeting, October 5, the Auditors Committee, chaired by Treasurer Jamie Searle, met with Councilman Otten, Hershuk, and Snyder, recorders a scene after the meeting, to discuss obtaining auditor services for the village for years 2020 and 21. Based on the quotes received by Jamie, it was voted and decided to obtain the services of BHM CPA Group, Inc. for this period. This is the same group that has done the village's records recently, and I would request a motion under new business to authorize that move. This past week, the village street crew completed the water line installation along with relocating the existing fire hydrant in the area of timbers at Woodview condos. That's the area adjacent to Ernie's Esquire. If you say Ernie's Esquire, everybody knows where that is. The job site was at Timbers and at Bethlehem Boulevard East. Roger Kent's project, who was in constructing 3 new condos there. I have ordered some roadway signs addressing the village's recent ordinance covering load limits for commercial and heavy vehicles. When received, these signs will be posted at all ingress and egresses to the village. Another matter here that I've been looking at on Orchard Lane, starting at the entrance to Cherry Lane. Get down Orchard Lane, and where Cherry Lane heads off to the left. Right beyond that, there are about 8 sanitary sewer lid frames in the middle of the road that the lids are slightly above grade, just high enough to interfere with our snow plowing in that area. Last season, our snow plow hit some of these lids, damaging our plow and broke some parts. Results, snow plow out of service, and so on. I consulted with a contractor who do the repairs. He gave me an estimate of $750 each. However, he would know more about doing the first one based on construction. There's different ways that they set those in. Some of them are on brick, some are on block, and different, and I'm not sure how they are, but I think we could find out if we would do one first and then proceed from there. I understand there's several different designs, so I'd like to repair the first one and see and proceed from there, reporting back to council as to what was found out. Under new business, there's got a few things. I need a motion to hire the accountants, BHM. Also, I'd like to order 100 tons of road salt from Turf Care Supply Corporation of Martins Ferry. That's our previous supplier. We have room for 100 tons right now back in our lean-to. Okay, that's all I have on my report. Tom, do you have anything to report tonight under your solicitor's report?
So I'll give a report under old business, I
Okay.
suppose, and regarding the requirements for the Open Meetings Act and the coronavirus.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd just like to say that I think all the councilmen should thank Councilman Wojcik, who did a yeoman's job with regard to the Tim McCormick and the County Commission with regard to our application for funds. And I think he should be recognized for that. And nothing else.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, next we'll go into committee reports. Let's skip the police chief reports. That's due in next meeting, is a monthly report. Next, under committee reports, Parks and Recreation, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, we
tonight,
have
Sue?
another meeting Thursday at 5:30. Two people that moved here from California, they said about 2.5 years ago. I tell you what, they're hustlers. I don't know if you met them yet, Dawn, or not, but they got something like $300-400 cash donations. They bring in chips, and it's unbelievable the job they're
Are you
doing.
meeting Thursday so you can taste the candy, so make sure it's good? No, the candy that's come in, I've got some stashed away. The girls already stacked some envelopes.
Yeah, we could still use more if you guys
Oh.
want to, because we're going to start probably bagging Thursday.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of it's bagged already, but anyway, it's amazing the candy that come in. I don't know where it all came from. Candy factory, I guess.
And so,
Okay.
Jen Aaron, she's the trooper. She runs the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
show, and she does a heck of a
Yep.
job.
Yep,
But
she's,
we could use more candy, and if you want to pick a bag up, just drop it down at the office. At
Okay.
5:30 Thursday.
yeah, okay. Okay, anything under police report, Bobby?
I don't have anything, but I think
I
Councilman
do.
Shiner.
Okay,
I wanted to see where we are. It's been probably a month and a half to 2 months since we've talked about a new police cruiser. I wanted to see where we are with that. And I know we talked about ordering a brand new one, and it would be about 7 months out. I was wondering where we are with that, if we've ordered one.
okay, well, on both issues, we're getting close to a used one, but I want to get a new one. I'm waiting for some quotes to come in on the new one, because I want to go ahead and get it ordered, and I'll maybe, tell you, I don't know what, like I say, it's be 7-8 months. That won't come in until next year. Now, when we get the quotes in, maybe decide I should tell the council, okay, we got a vehicle, it's gonna be X number of dollars, before I go ahead and order, because I don't want to order if we don't have council's approval. We'll have something shortly on used ones. We got a couple we're looking at right now. And one of the things that you find out on the used ones, you either got high mileage or you got low mileage, but some of the high mileage used cruisers has a lot of the accessories on. Now, we do have in our catch, in our inventory, some accessories that we can reuse. Just like in one, I understand in a Ford Cruiser, they've changed the cage. They either widen it or shorten it, because I think we got the opposite. In other words, we got the short cage, but the newer ones go wider and things. But anyway, there's different things. We're getting close to both of those issues. So, anything else, Aaron? Okay. Roads and streets, Tommy and Steve.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
I don't have one.
Okay. Tim, anything on water and sewer?
Yeah, just a question about Orchard. Tommy, does it seem like they're humping up now? Because I remember when they paved it a few years ago, it was pretty smooth. The lids, are they lifting?
They evidently have come up a little, because.
And is that
That's what's
due to a
going-
bigger problem?
Yeah.
In other words, are we gonna fix a couple lids and there's really an issue?
Well, there's a total of 8 there, and I don't know, I thought there was 3, and Ben told me, no, there's 8
No,
there.
there's tons of them.
Yeah.
But when they paved the road,
Yeah,
they were actually down.
I think they actually did do some work on them after they got done paving.
Mhm.
They came back and reworked them but the one closest before me say they had to, they come and cut the lip off of that, cause that must be one they hit with a plow.
Yeah.
And they come up, with a grinder or what have you and cut it down. You know, I walk that every day, I should probably look at it a little closer.
I'm just
I
worried
don't know
that
how
it's,
far they are.
it's a bigger problem than just, because
Yeah.
I mean, you'd know better than I would. When they paved that, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, well, not only that, but now in the contracts, we
Yeah.
always put that the paver has to, and they outsource it, have somebody come back and raise the lids to level, to ground level and everything. But the one Tommy, was talking about, it looks like the rim is up and somebody's cut a little bit of the rim out, but that really doesn't, do the job, yeah.
I'm worried that it's a bigger issue than,
Well, that's why I wanna do one and see
Yeah.
how it is.
I don't know if they raised them up and it was right at one time, and then the asphalt kind of settled down.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take much to catch it with
Right.
a plow, you know what I mean?
right.
So,
Well,
I think they did it.
How much of the road do they have to tear up to kind of
Well,
grind
just,
that away?
there's a perimeter around there, you can see where the asphalt was after they either raised or lowered it,
Yeah.
they worked, so they're not gonna have to take out too much of the roadway, so, but.
That's one of our newer ones. I hate to see it tore up.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I think last year, when they hit it and took a truck out of service, it was like in the middle of the night.
Right.
And that's the worst possible time, and you don't have that much time.
Now, Don, this is Orchard, not Cherry, where these?
No, what I
That's right
mentioned,
on the
Cherry,
corner.
in other words, when you go beyond the entrance to Cherry from
Yeah,
Orchard,
I
you
walk
go on a
every
little bit
day
further,
there.
in front of Tommy's house is the first
From
one.
there all the way up to Chris Rickley's, they're right in the middle of the road. so.
Okay, I noticed them, okay.
Remember they moved the one because Richter's was having the water trouble. They moved that to the center. I remember that.
And then we've got some curbing there, so that,
Yeah.
yes. So, okay. Well,
Thank you. That's the only question I have.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
hoping
that's
it wasn't
good.
a bigger issue.
yeah, well, that's it. That's the reason I thought, well, let's do one and see, what we're
And then
into.
The only other thing I have on the water sewer is, the plan with the money from the commissioner. Do we have, is Ben developing a plan to purchase a set number of those radio meters? And
Yes.
we'll talk about that at the next meeting with Ben.
High County Public Service District, they got about 4,200
Right.
meters and everything. I didn't know it was that high.
Mhm.
And we only have like 12 or 1,400. No,
Yeah.
it's just like a draw. We need to just get a few in because if we got 100 meters in, that's gonna take us, maybe a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month to install.
Can I suggest that when we install the first set of meters, we do it in our hardest to read areas? That way, if there's going to be transmitter problems.
You wanna know where the hardest read area is? I already asked them a question. Out on Ridgecrest Road, up by Stacky's. Because what you run into out there, a lot of times the guy's gotta get on the ground and look down in the pit and everything, and they're right next to the highway.
Right.
And then there's a couple homes out there that their meters right outside the bedroom windows, and that's
Right.
not a,
But for transmitting purposes, those are the easiest ones to read, because the transmitter's gonna be right next to the road. I'm talking about the ones where the meter is set back off the road, where it's gonna have trouble getting the signal to the truck. Start with those ones, so that if you have issues, you get the hardest ones out of the way.
yeah. Well, that's the reason I wanted it, is I asked Ben, which is the area that's hardest to read, and that's the area he told me. We'll say out in Stackyville, where Stack's, on Ridgecrest.
Well, it's dangerous for them guys out there.
Yeah.
But I can see what he's saying also.
Yeah,
Alright, I'm sorry, that's all I had, thank you.
yeah, okay,
Hey,
that's
Don,
good.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for the input.
Can I bring something up on the parks again, real quick? I just want the people to know, since it's being videoed,
Yeah,
maybe some people misplaced their letters, but spread it around in their areas that the event is from 2 to 5, okay? And there's places where the kids are going to meet. Okay, so tell them to make sure they look at the letter or mention to anybody who's got kids in their area. I'm sure somebody's watching this tonight.
yeah, well, hopefully
And, you know what I
that'll
mean?
get to the
'Cause
right
they
people.
might have misplaced their letter or something like that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, zoning, anything on zoning, Mark?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. And Ben's not here tonight. I usually have him come to the first meeting to give you an update on what problems that he gets into, so. Okay, let's move into old business, and Tom, you wanted to make a report on your findings
Yeah.
of the CDC?
As you recall, at the last meeting, Councilman Bishop brought up an issue that we needed to take a look at. And that was with the meetings being closed because of coronavirus, and the law being that you're required to have open meetings in the state of West Virginia as well as most other states, how do we deal with that? And he was kind enough to send me an email with some information that he had found. And I used that as some additional extensive research today, and then I had a lengthy, detailed phone conversation with the legal department of the Ethics Commission. And given that all meetings have to be open and transparent, what the coronavirus has caused problems for every municipality. What we should do, and again, it's not a mandatory obligation, but to be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. It's the recommendation, and I would say strong recommendation of the Ethics Commission with regard to it, that we either live stream the meetings to the public, which Recorder Sassine said is just about impossible to do because we're down here in this valley in a metal building. And they understood that down at the Ethics Commission. So the other thing we can do, in addition to continuing to video our meetings, if you want to, is open up a conference call system whereby the people would be given a number to call in if they want to listen to the meeting. The purpose is not to have someone to be able to talk during the meeting, it's to be able to listen to the meeting, so it's an open meeting. You can buy these conference call devices for relatively moderate cost, I believe, at Best Buy and some other places. May be able to use a regular phone, I'm not sure. Somebody with more technical skill will have to look at it, but all we have to do is then, Jamie, do you know who our carrier is for our phone service? All right, so it's Comcast. So we'd make pre-arrangements with Comcast for a conference call number, and you can put that conference call number out to the public, meaning at 8 o'clock on the first and third Monday. You can participate in listening to the Village Bethlehem meeting live by calling into this number. And they would call in. With that number, they would hook in, just like you do a conference call, those of you who do it in your offices. And that would suffice, in my opinion, to meet that requirement, and it would with the legal department of the Ethics Commission also. We discussed that specifically, and it was in the literature that Tim was kind enough to give me, that was one of the suggestions. Their suggestion was that the committee strongly encourages any governing body which encounters such a situation, that means people can't come into a meeting, make every reasonable effort to accommodate the attendees, and if they can do that with undue hardship, and that would be by providing a call-in number or access to live stream of the meeting, would meet the minimum requirements of the Open Meetings Act. So I looked at a number of other municipalities, from the eastern panhandle to the central part of the state, the southern part of the state, and that seems to be the consensus of what they're doing, providing for the people to be able to call in, whether or not you have anybody or not. You're providing the ability to call in. They call in, it's answered, they can listen to the meeting. They will not be able to participate, by talking.
You don't have to give them the opportunity to talk.
No.
Right.
just to listen in.
Basically have it on mute, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
And then
Yeah.
So they
Well,
could-
no, you can't have it on mute, because then they can't hear the meeting.
Oh,
They have to mute it on their end.
Right.
Yeah,
They have to mute their phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because say, 'cause sometimes we have 50, 60 people on
Right.
these calls.
yeah, I've been
Yeah,
on
they have
those
to
too,
mute
yeah,
their
they tell you to mute your end, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, new business, I suggested you discuss it and see what you want to do, or, you know, whether or not you want to, see whether or not it can be, one of the phones we have can be used for it, or do you need to buy one of those conference call machines? I don't know whether you do or not, but that's the easiest way to facilitate what we should do until such time as people can attend again. Or you may change your, you know, you may change your mind and say people can come again. I don't know where we, the law says you don't have to accommodate all of them. You can reasonably limit the number of people that would come, but you're still gonna have to social distance them somewhere. So, I think, doing what we're doing now, and adding in the call-in phone, is a reasonable, method of accomplishing what we should do. And, I thank Councilman Bishop for bringing it up, because we want to be in compliance with everything. So,
Okay, does anybody have any suggestions or have any previous experience on something like this?
We can use our phones here. You just get a GoToMeeting account, and they'll provide you with a call-in number. You dial the number, you have your participant code. You send that participant code out, anybody can call in, and they hear. You don't have to buy a special device or anything. You could, you know, get some extra phone cord and just set the phone right on your desk, and it would work just fine. There's no need to buy any extra equipment. We do that all the time.
you're doing it through GoToMeeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could, somebody could lend some insight to the staff here.
Yeah.
They can.
Okay, any other input? Thanks, Tim.
That's all I have then with regard to that, Mayor.
Okay, what's council pleasure? You want to do what Tim is suggesting? Have you done this before or done to the church?
6 times a day. I have 6 conference calls a day.
Well, maybe we get you up here and you can pull the switches.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll help set up the account. I mean, there's a lot of ones that you don't even have to pay for. There's free services. You won't cost us anything.
Okay,
I'd be more than happy to come up.
okay.
Yeah.
Is
I've got a
everybody,
water bill due, so I'll drop it off.
I'm good with it. You know, you don't have to call Comcast then?
No, you don't even have to.
Okay,
Just-
that's, I'm good with it.
So what we'll
You
need
know, I
to-
should know this, Tim, because I'm on too, but I'm on the other end of it all the time. How do we keep that muted so they just don't say stuff? I know you can mute yourself. So
Right. The
That
onus will
weekend.
be on the resident to mute their phone. And we'll make that clear at the beginning of the meeting, before the meeting starts, before the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, you can welcome those who are listening, encourage them to please mute their phone. This is given as an opportunity to them to hear the council meeting live. They won't be given an opportunity to address. If they'd like to address council, they can do so by letter or email or phone call prior to the meeting, and then their concern will be addressed at the meeting. So it's not an opportunity for them to speak during the meeting, it's an opportunity for them to listen. So if they could please mute their phone, we can always turn the speaker volume down on our end to not hear them if they're not willing to do so. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
most people
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Right.
They wouldn't use anyhow, but I'm
Right.
saying if you had somebody that got,
Dogs yapping in the back or something, you know what I mean, or babies crying or something, we can always just turn the volume down on our end.
So in order for this to work properly, the way I think we're gonna have to do it is, if you're going to be the one to spearhead setting up, whether it's GoToMeeting or, regardless of what service we use, we should probably consider having the meeting set up, because you know how they designate a meeting ID and
Yeah.
so on. So we'll have to have that set up probably a week in advance, because what we do is we notify the papers, da. So what we can do, Don, is we'll include the go-to meeting ID or whatever service Tim decides to go with. And we'll basically just incorporate that into our news briefing. We'll include it on the bulletin board, so that way
Right.
it's publicly posted. But the main thing is, we will need that meeting ID in advance.
Sure.
So as long as we can coordinate that, it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, well, can we still have the recording done?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's at council's discretion. I mean,
Yeah.
like TC said, I think if we were to do both those methods, we'd be covering all of our bases.
Yeah, I believe you would, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
You're still putting it on the Facebook page this way.
Yeah, that's still a good idea.
Although statistics show that we're not getting,
I didn't want to
Much,
deviate from
uh,
that because there's a lot of people that do watch this on Facebook when it's,
Yeah.
after it's posted. So,
Well, plus sometimes people they can't listen to the meeting at a particular time. So
Yeah.
that will cover them there on Facebook.
yeah.
okay. Any other input on this matter?
I think we should designate a moderator to set up the line. Tim, is that something you'd be interested in doing?
What do you mean?
Who's going to be at the helm of directing the go-to meeting, setting up the line, getting the meeting ID?
Oh, I'm happy to do that if you want, yeah.
I'm just saying we need to put someone in charge of this duty, because it's going to be a task that we'll need prepared.
Sure, I'm
Tim,
happy
would you like
to do
to,
it, whatever council wants.
be the moderator, to get things set up since
Yeah,
you
whatever council
are
wants, I'm
very
happy to
familiar
do it.
with the
Sure.
procedure?
Sure.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So appointed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other old business that needs to come up before council tonight?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a pain on the old business, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Mayor, the Zigglers on Hickory reached out to me again, they just wanted to reiterate that they'd hoped to get a phone call. That's all they said, and then we had talked, about a month and a half ago about the trees on Westgate. And you said you were gonna work on the
Yeah.
trees on Westgate, I was just gonna ask for an update on that.
okay, I'd have to ask Ben how far, but I told
Okay.
him about that,
All right,
roughly where the areas were.
that's all, I appreciate it, thank you.
Well, also, I'd like to maybe meet with you about this Ziegler. I want to
Sure.
update you on that. I
Anytime.
don't want to, right now, what I have, I don't necessarily want to broadcast, okay?
You got my number, buddy, call me anytime.
Okay,
All right.
okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, any other old business? Okay, if not, then we'll move into new business. Okay, well, the first thing I had in new business is I'd like to get a motion to hire BHM CPA Group Incorporated to do our auditing as a result of the meeting we had after the last council meeting. As I mentioned, the four council people that were there.
That's the same one we always get done.
Well, this is the one that's done it recently, and I'll tell you, I was in the office and talking to Jamie. These guys, there were three guys sitting at the table. They all had laptops, and they didn't, every once in a while, they might ask the girls, I need to see this, I need to see that, but they were silent. You didn't even know they were here, and they were very professional. They broke for lunch and everything. But maybe you saw them too, Timmy, but I was impressed with them based on some of the previous
I'll make
experiences.
that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, and the bottom line, I forgot to tell you, the cost is $5,500. Is that right, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, as the motions are made and second to hire BHM, is there any question on a motion? Everybody? Okay, if be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, the next thing I mentioned under my report, I'd like to start off with ordering 100 tons of road salt from Turf Care Supply Corp. They're over Martin's Ferry. They're where we got ours from last year, and I had a concern about the consistency because I don't know if somebody suggested that we put pea gravel in our, and That's the worst thing I think he could put in. It just makes things more slippery. But what we mix in are cinders. And normally last year, we had a hard time getting cinders because of the power plants. We already got a couple loads of cinders in, so we're ready to go to mix with that. We also, if we had snow tonight, we're ready to go, except we'd have to get the cinder spreaders out. And so,
Don't say that word.
but anyway, I'd like to start off by ordering 1,000 tons. Our cost on the salt it's $85 a ton and $80 a ton and $7 delivery. So it's $87 a ton delivered. So that's the cost of it. So I'd like to buy 100 tons of it to get started. So I'd entertain a motion for that purchase.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and second. Is there any question on the motion? If there be no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Sorry, that still comes out of, the majority of that'll come out of coal severance, right?
Normally, that's what I think we've taken it out of coal severance, as long as we got funds available
Yeah, as
there.
long as the funds are there, if not, it'll come from general.
So do we deplete coal severance before we take it from general? Because there's only 4,000 in coal severance now. Do we take that down before it goes to the general fund, or if we can't cover it all, we don't cover any?
That's completely up to, it doesn't matter either way, whatever you guys, whatever your preference would be. There's no definitive ruling, that's just whatever.
There's no other use for the coal severance fund, right?
No, not, I mean, you can use it for other,
But we never.
roads and street stuff if you need to, but basically, we've always just did salt, and that was it.
Getting back to the salt a little bit, I did reach out to other companies, and I know last year we got caught short or something, and this is where we got it locally here, but by the time I called them, I think it was in September I started, maybe you have to start in August, but they said their allotments were already filled up. Well, this year, they told, this one outfit said you have to email us your requirements and that's been a week and a half or so ago, and I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah, Brian's a nice guy.
Yeah,
He is.
he's easy to work with, and I got to know him a little better. He's got roots in the community here too, so. But anyway, I like to do business local if we can.
So you're still
Okay.
looking for a motion, Don, or Steve made the motion? Did you make that motion, Steve?
Okay.
Yeah, and Bobby seconded.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we had, I thought we voted, okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
No, they voted.
Yeah, we voted.
Yeah.
It did pass, thank you.
Senior moment.
Well, that's okay, but it's always good to have a backup. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and Joannette, she'll be back next meeting. I didn't know she was coming tonight until, mid of the last week, that got a note in the desk that she wanted to stop by, and I think most of you know her, except for maybe Aaron doesn't know her, but she's been around for a long time, and she's our guru that does the hunting for our healthcare and everything. She does a good job. Okay, we also have the list of bills for October 2020. I'm sure you all have a copy on hand. At this time, I would entertain a motion to pay the October 2020 list of bills.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Is there any question on the motion of the list of bills? If there be no question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. And then we have Jamie's financial statement, September 30, 2020. I would entertain a motion to approve the September 30, 2020 financial statement and file it for audit.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it. Okay. Any question on the financial statement?
Didn't Tommy say it?
No.
Well, I'm hearing
Oh,
things.
I thought-
I thought I heard it too.
I thought Tim made the motion, and so,
I did, Bobby seconded it, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
gotta take your mask off on me. Okay, thanks. Okay, is there any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, motion carried. I think that's all I have, unless I missed something here. Does anybody have any new business?
I just got one quick thing to say. Something like, I think they start open voting up at the city building tomorrow. I mean, so
I think,
if
yeah, I
anybody
think,
wants to go up there and vote, I think it's tomorrow they start.
21st.
yeah.
21st, he said.
21st? Okay. I mean, if you didn't vote by mail, if you want to get it out of the way, I usually go up there, there's probably nobody there.
Yeah, you used to work up there
I
at
never
the
worked
school.
up there. At the school now.
Yeah.
Too many hours.
Oh, you were good there. You should be back there, it's like, anyway. Yeah, we all need to get out and vote. I've seen so much advertisement on TV where, like up in the Pittsburgh area, it seems like they started early voting sooner and people were in line to vote. And not only in Pittsburgh, but other areas. How the media bounces back and forth and they get these lines. And then a lot of the athletes have gotten into it and sort of beat the drums too. So that's a good thing. You keep, if you don't vote, don't complain.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Is there any? Oh, I'm sorry, Tim.
I do. I was contacted by a resident the other day, the other morning when we had our frost. Some of the construction crews that are exiting from the Timbers construction, there's a lot of mud that's on the road now.
Yeah.
And when we had the frost the other day, I guess it got a little slick right there. So maybe we could contact them and ask them.
You should have seen it this morning.
Right, it's just a muddy mess, and we know when they first started putting in the laydown yard, how the mud coated the road there, and we had problems with it getting slick. So maybe we could just reach out to them and ask them.
There was a contractor they were working on in sanitary sewer.
Right.
And well, they really had.
Yeah, there's just a lot of mud. I hate to see somebody slide on it or.
Well, not only that, but I just noticed up here when you head up Spruce Street on the right-hand side, somebody graded out their driveway, and all it is mud. And it's been that way for over a week. And I don't know if they've gotten a building permit yet, but when it rains, it comes down, and when they come out with their vehicles, it spreads on the road and
So
everything.
maybe we could just ask Roger. About
Yeah,
doing that
well, that's good, okay.
Before it starts freezing every day and gets slick.
Well, I don't know if there's a rule, the state has a rule or something, but they want you to clean up, if you had construction during that day and you put Bobby,
They do for commercial vehicles, yes.
yeah, no, okay.
Thanks for looking into that.
Got any update, Dawn, on that high bridge? What they're doing on that high bridge?
Well, I'll tell you what, the last I heard, and I reported last meeting, I thought it would be December, but I'll tell you this last week, on the Spruce Street Bridge, they look like they have it all cleaned up, all the lights and a lot of their working equipment. They pulled the 2 roll-off containers. They have a backhoe there now that has some debris in the bucket, but they must be, I don't know about the high-level bridge. I'd have to go up there and check, and I'm gonna call their project engineer and see
Yeah,
where
look
they
like
stand, but maybe they're shooting for November 1, I don't know. They're just about a year late, so.
Looked like there wasn't hardly anything else. That's why I was wondering.
Okay, anything else to come before council tonight? If there be no further business, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.